remove the small, typically 22 tooth gear. We're going to remove the spacer. It comes out easy, but we're going to keep the key. Rear cover will be removed, 4 screws. 2 screws will be removed, bottom right and bottom middle. This will allow for the attachment of the display bracket. First hole to drill will be for a 1/4 tap, and this is on the shaft for the left-right actuation. Using proper technique, so 1/4 tap. You can use a bottom tap on the 1/4 to make sure there's enough thread there for the extension that's going to be added here. Okay, the last hole to drill and tap will be for a 1032 number 21 drill on the upper right shaft. This will be for the encoder, so it's a really good one to go with square and through the shaft axis as you can. As you're drilling this particular hole, if the shaft starts to spin, it's okay to engage the threading and put the pin into the headstock. That'll prevent the spindle and thus this particular shaft from turning while you're drilling or tapping. So this is a 1032 and this will be for the encoder. Another trick is as you're starting the 1032, release the pin in the headstock and spin the spindle and watch for run out in the tap. So you can correct it at the beginning and make sure you get a nice parallel and to the axis on this tap. Okay, so at this point we've got the rear cover off the door, 2 holes drilled and tapped, 2 screws removed, and now we're ready to start adding the spindle encoder to the 1032 area we just drilled and tapped there. Okay, the original key, we have the coupling, the Lovejoy coupling, Rulon coupling, that mounts flush to the end of the original shaft, and it's a clamp style, squeeze style coupling. The wrench to clamp is a 2.5 millimeter Allen wrench. On the encoder provided, remove the outer shipping nut that held everything together, and you'll see a spacer. And this is simply going to screw into the 1032. And when locking the supplied drive screw, there will be some float in the encoder.
Depth clearance, I guess.
So it won't be have any interference. So this will lock tight. So this will be held up against the casting. So we're going to tap those 2 out. These are original to the Hardinge, so we'll just tap them out, drill them out for 1032. Next, we're going to hold the encoder in place, and this clamp, if you will, is designed just to hold enough pressure to keep it from spinning. We're not trying to crush and clamp this so tight that it will crush the encoder. And we're going to leave it slightly loose so later on we'll be able to float this encoder for a minimal run out. Okay, next we're going to take the extension with the collars and we're going to attach it to the left-right shaft and have the 1/4 tap from earlier. The micro switch bracket is next, and we utilize the holes that have the hinge for the door cover. And these are a small, I believe a 632
440.
440 Phillips head, and the collar will be tripping each direction. The adjustment for the collar to micro switch is knowing that the shaft movement is maximized left and right. Bring the collar up dead to the bottom of the micro switch and then just back off by feel about 10 thousandths, and that would be for each direction. Sometimes movement of the left-right, the clutch internal to the gear would be on the top of the clutch teeth, so you have to make sure that you get maximum travel before you make any adjustment. Ultimately, it should look like this with this amount of space between the collars. Okay, we turn the spindle on slow speed, and we're trying to adjust the encoder so it has the minimum amount of run out on the drive screw. And then once that's achieved, just alternatively just come in and clamp so the encoder will not rotate. Okay, next is to align the coupling to be able to slip on the servo motor and the attachment bushing hub, and 2 lock screws. The direction of the connections will face to the rear, so this area here is going to face to the rear, and you'll see the lock set screws at 12 o'clock and 3 o'clock here. Okay, next is lay the touch screen down here in the front and maneuver the power supply and attachment plate to the rear using the extended 1/4 screws provided, making sure that the tumbler is in the out far right position. The bracket with the extended screws will go into the pre-existing holes that were on the gearbox.
Longer T-wrench.
The connectors plugged in to the servo motor. You can't mix them up, they're different. Don't forget to tighten them on so they don't get loose.
Away from there.
We're going to use tie wraps to keep this cable from this gear that will be turning, so you want to tie it up. And you'll see that the mounting plate will go into the existing rear cover area. Using the provided 1032 button heads, just mount the plate.
Or you can just install.
Okay, at this point, power supplies attached, cabling's attached, encoder, touchscreen. Only thing left really is the main cover, but we'll leave that off until everything is test run. So basically, cover on, power supply. And to operate, you can engage the threading knob. Keep the speeds at factory settings below 800 RPM. And we'll be setting up to do that. But that basically, having the tools in hand is about 45 minutes, but you know, figure an hour, hour and a half. as you study the instructions and perhaps do this video.